I am Kat, I play Sims, and this is episode 15 of the Llamas and Legends Legacy Challenge, which unfortunately is in a slightly different format because none of my audio recorded when I started the game, so I've wound up saving without any game sound, without any voice, and I'm just having to treat it as a speed build and do it all afterwards. So we're just going to go over the big events of the episode basically. We had prom with Amber and Xander. They got along well for this portion of the video, but later on things really went downhill for them. It actually started at prom, where for some reason their relationship was just deteriorating, and prom of course behaved the way it always does in The Sims, which is to say not well at all. I got them to do a couple of things towards the goals, but as usual they did one or two and then the time ran out, so there was nothing I could do to make it any better. Xander started flirting with a random student and made Amber really upset, so that was the start of the downfall of their relationship. She got really unsatisfied first, and then later on he joined her. Prom went really fast as usual, so I tried to get them to dance, I tried to get them to take pictures, but ultimately all they got to do was vote for Jester and Royalty and then have the actual award ceremony. They had a little dance, but not enough to make it check off at first. I did manage to get them both to vote, which meant I had the majority. So Xander got prom royalty and Amber got prom jester, which I thought was quite fitting because she was an imaginary friend doll for the bulk of her life so far. It was also a brief moment of happiness for Amber because everything went downhill again really quickly afterwards. She was really dissatisfied with her relationship. She thinks Xander's her soulmate and she's upset that he was flirting elsewhere. So she started having a really rough time pretty much straight away again. I tried improving things between the two of them, but unfortunately I just don't think they're a good fit. They went home and Xander tried to apologise and it briefly looked like I could bring their romance back, but again, she started rejecting him even though she's the one that feels wronged, so it wasn't fixable at all. As much as I want the imaginary friend marriage, it's definitely not going to work out. Even though they both still have major crushes on each other, it just never gets better despite that. Amber was not having any of the apologies or the romantic interactions, so I just had to leave it in the end. It wasn't going well. It was a little bit weird seeing Amber dressed as a jester the entire time. She even went into a sad little bath with her jester hat on, and I briefly thought she might have it on for the rest of her life, but it did come off eventually. One of the biggest things I was doing in this episode was grinding Xander's two biggest skills, which are charisma and logic, and I made a good amount of progress in both. We used Astrid for the mentoring again for charisma, which shot it up ridiculously quick, and Amber did a lot of writing as well. She got the first bit of her aspiration done, and she kept writing children's books, so that was going pretty well as well. I couldn't believe how quick Xander's charisma skill went up with Astrid's help, because without the mentoring, for her, it was such a struggle to get level 10. And with him, it was just shooting up and up and up and up so quick. I was getting extra levels really easy. Caleb Jr., as usual, was no trouble at all for the most part, but at one point he did go downstairs to eat a slice of pizza he found on a public bathroom sink. So that was a bit worrisome. But the rest of the time, he mostly just practiced his violin and kept himself busy. He did a lot of skill building today as well. Everybody kept getting leftovers of white cake for just about every meal. I couldn't stop them doing it. I couldn't stop them making them. Random Sims kept coming and making more white cake, so that was probably my biggest annoyance of the playthrough. Here and there I managed to get windows of happiness out of Amber, but she would generally go back to her normal sunny self afterwards. She was quite helpful at times, but every now and again she would just go back to enraged, so I barely got her to behave. She did manage to publish some books, but then Xander decided he was having a mean streak, so that really didn't help his relationship with her, even though she really was trying to keep herself in a good mood. She wrote her third children's book, which was called My Brother is a Vampire. She's basically just writing books based on her own life. While she was writing and working on that skill, Xander was getting more mentoring from Astrid and charisma. He was well on his way to level 9 at this point. It was about 4 in the morning on a Monday, so he was due to go to school, but I knew I had the needs cheat from last week's roll the dice, so I just kept him going as long as I could. Amber published another book, and Caleb Jr. pulled out a loose tooth. Amber, of course, right before school, went back to being enraged, and I quickly cheated Xander's needs before he had to go out. Astrid actually got a few calls from the school today for both Caleb Jr. and Amber, and I gave the usual not great advice. Amber made her first book royalties, and they both went to their first club meetings after school. But while Xander was out, he got offered early graduation, and I decided to take it. So this actually glitched him for the rest of the episode because it thought he was out at chess club the entire time, even though he'd come back. Caleb Jr. kept working hard as usual, and Xander suddenly decided he was very dissatisfied in his relationship, so that was another step toward the end. I got him mentoring with Astrid again, and he actually maxed the charisma skill quite easily. Caleb Jr. just kept building skills of his own accord like an absolute little angel, and I kept Xander on the grind for his logic skill. I actually decided to enroll him in university because with the early graduation, he's got a little bit more time to do it, and while it will cut into his young adulthood a bit, it'll pay off when I get him his job. Astrid maxed the cooking skill because she keeps making white cake in her sleep, and I started trying to work on emotional control with Amber because it was getting out of hand and I don't want her to die. I remembered that the museum was for Astrid and her family, so I decided to put Caleb Jr.'s school project in there on a pedestal. And then I just kept working on skills and had Astrid put Winterfest decorations up. I got a tree and presents and just made the building look pretty as well. Xander did what Amber never could and didn't have a negative moodlet for 3 days, so he got a family recipe unlock. But at this point, the romantic satisfaction completely ended, so they had no romantic relationship at all. Xander did get his logic skill up to level 7, and then Caleb Jr. found a monster under his bed again, which he was not friends with this time. So because he kept trying to wake up Amber, I just bought him a nightlight instead and got rid of it that way. He did spend a little while trying to wake up Amber over and over again while I convinced him not to do it because she is not the kind of sim you want to wake up when she's asleep. It was Winterfest, so I started trying to check off some of the tasks for each of them. Because Xander still thought he was out of the house, I couldn't get him involved in anything, so Amber and Astrid did all of the tree decorations between them, and it kept Amber in a good mood for a little while again. I kept trying to involve Xander, but it took a long time to make him respond. Everybody else didn't have him as an option at all, and even when I started things from his point of view, it took a lot of doing to make the Sims work together. I decided to let Caleb Jr. sneak a present before everyone else, but it didn't end well, which is a theme that happened with many of them. I had Astrid making the grand meal, and I had Amber writing another book. I called this one The Warlock Who Saved Winterfest, so it's a book about Xander. Astrid called everybody to the grand meal, but I did have to corral the Sims a little bit because they were all doing other stuff. Caleb Jr. decided he'd rather do extra credit homework, but they did come together for a family meal in the end. We decided to do presents next, so at first I started it out with Caleb Jr., but then realised Xander wasn't involved again, so I opened it with him. Amber got a terrible present of a large pet poop, but following that, Astrid got upgrade parts, which she was quite happy with, so it was a bit of a mixed bag. But after that was done, Astrid gave Amber some fairy dust as a gift so that she did actually have something nice to show for the day. Caleb Jr. and Xander came and got their gifts and rubbed salt in the wound by both getting something really good. Things got weird after the presents were over with because Amber started serenading Xander and they decided they had crushes again, but then Xander turned her down when she asked about his attraction level. It turned out the cheer squad didn't take Winterfest off, so Amber stamped off to her practice and Xander went back to logic skill for a little while. I tried to reset him to see if it would put him back in the household and it didn't work out, so we just waited for Father Winter to turn up. I tried to make sure everybody in the household would get a present off him, but again, I had to do a lot of work to make them actually interact properly. Father Winter did give Amber a really good gift, so she got a chess set that she was actually really happy with. Caleb Jr. did pretty well as well, and he got a collectible figure from Father Winter, so he was happy with that as well. And then Astrid came and didn't do so well at all, while Xander gave Father Winter some of the paper craft he did at camp. Astrid actually got a future cube, which I would think is quite good, but she was devastated by it and decided she'd been a naughty sim. And then I spent the rest of the time trying to get Xander's relationship with Father Winter up as much as I could. This might not actually be as helpful later on as I'm hoping for, because Clement Frost is an elder and there's every chance he'll just die before we come to the point where we need Father Winter's babies. He improved that relationship, and he also did pretty well with Amber before the end, and with that I decided to be done for the day and decided that was it for Llamas and Legends 15. I'll be continuing on Fridays, hopefully with intact audio, so thanks for watching and please consider a like and subscribe.